I paid off my mom's debt and bought her a house. Then she secretly sold it and gave everything to my golden child brother. I paid off my mom's $87,000 debt, bought her a beautiful little home near the coast, and made sure she'd never have to work again. Then she vanished for 2 months. When I finally found her, she was living in a luxury condo with my golden child brother, and the house? Sold. Every dollar gone. I wish I could say I was shocked. But if I'm being honest, this was a slow burn betrayal that I should have seen coming years ago. I just didn't want to believe my own mother could use me like this. Let me start from the beginning, because the truth is, I was never supposed to succeed. I was the scrap child, the one who got hand-me-downs, second chances, and silence when I cried. My brother, on the other hand, could burn the world and still be called the sunshine in it. Growing up, my mom never really looked at me unless I was bleeding or bringing her something. I was quiet, did my chores, got decent grades. My brother? He was chaos incarnate. He crashed 2 cars before 19, dropped out of college twice, and once stole my birthday money to buy weed. Mom's response: "Don't be so selfish. He's going through a lot." I moved out at 17. No dramatic goodbye, no hugs, just a duffel bag, a bus ticket, and a belief that maybe if I worked hard enough, I could outrun the way I was raised. And for a while I did. I worked my way through community college while bussing tables at night. I slept in my car more than once. I didn't have the luxury of failure, no soft place to land. Every step forward was mine alone, and every stumble hurt like hell because I had no one to catch me. But eventually I made it out. I got a job in tech. Nothing glamorous, but stable. Then came the promotions, then freelance side work, then stock options. By 29, I had money in the bank, a small condo in a quiet city, and no one to share it with. That's when the calls started. At first they were harmless. Check-ins from my mom after years of silence. "How have you been, sweetie?" she'd ask, like she hadn't missed 5 Christmases and forgotten my birthday 3 years in a row. I was cautious, but I answered. I wasn't stupid. I just still wanted a mom. Then came the drop. "Your brother's struggling." "He's trying, you know, but rent's hard. And I've been helping, which means I've fallen a little behind." A little behind turned out to be a mountain of debt. Credit cards maxed, payday loans, medical bills, hers and his. I asked how it got so bad, and she cried. Actually cried. Not that sharp, manipulative tone I grew up with. This was trembling voice, sniffles, guilt. "I just wanted to keep the lights on, baby. I didn't want you to worry." And suddenly, I was 12 again, watching her cry over an empty fridge, wondering why we were always one bad day from drowning. So I did what I thought a good son should. I cleared it, every last dollar. $87,432.28 to be exact. I remember the number because it sat on my banking app like a wound. I didn't even tell her right away. Just logged in, set up payments, and made it vanish. Then I told her. She called me sobbing, told me I'd saved her life, that she'd never forget it, that one day she'd make it up to me. I believed her. And when I found out she was being evicted anyway, after all that, I stepped in again. I bought her a modest home, 2 bedrooms, garden, quiet neighborhood near the coast, like she always said she wanted. I even paid a year of utilities in advance and hired someone to help her move. She called me her angel. I should have known better. The silence stretched longer than I expected. After everything I had done, wiping out her debt, buying her a fully paid off home in a quiet coastal town, making sure she had nothing to worry about, I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd finally earned a real relationship with her. Not even love, just respect. Gratitude, at least. At first, I made excuses for her. Maybe she was settling in. Maybe she didn't want to bother me. Maybe she was just enjoying the peace. But weeks turned into months. No calls, no texts, not even a forwarded meme or a thumbs up emoji. It was like she'd slipped off the face of the earth the moment the keys hit her hand. Then came the bounced holiday card. I'd sent a Christmas card to the new house, just a small gesture. A photo of me with my rescue dog, a handwritten note, a gift card for groceries. A week later, it came back. Return to sender. No longer at this address. I stared at that envelope for a long time. Something was off. I tried calling, straight to voicemail. I emailed her. No reply. I called the neighbor I'd briefly spoken to during the house closing, a kind old woman who brought cookies during the move-in. She picked up after the second ring. "Oh, sweetheart, I thought she told you," the neighbor said kindly. "Your mother moved out. The for sale sign went up a while back. I think she left in a hurry. One day she was here, the next she was gone." That made no sense. Why would she move out of a house I'd given her? She had no mortgage, no rent, no financial stress. It was her forever home. I checked the county records online. I had access because I'd done all the paperwork myself during the purchase. The title had been quietly transferred out of my name and into hers just a week after I finalized the deal. I remember thinking, did I really sign off on that? Turns out I had. It's simpler for tax reasons, my realtor had explained at the time. Since you're gifting it. I trusted the process, trusted her like a fool. The house had sold for $338,000, all cash. I sat there at my desk, staring at the browser tab, refreshing the page like it would give me a different answer. But it didn't. She'd sold it, taken the money and run, and never even told me. That night, I walked into my kitchen and opened the fridge, not because I was hungry, but because I didn't know what else to do. I stood there in the cold light, surrounded by the silence of a life I'd built on my own, and I finally said it out loud. She used me. It wasn't just the betrayal, it was the pattern. The lifelong repetition of her turning toward my brother and turning away from me, over and over, no matter what I did. I gave her more than I could afford, financially, emotionally, mentally, and she didn't even have the decency to lie to my face. She just disappeared. I didn't cry. Not then. I was too stunned for tears. But something broke that night. Something foundational, not just in how I saw her, but in how I saw myself. Because it finally hit me. No amount of goodness, success, or sacrifice could ever make me worthy in her eyes. Because I was never her choice. He was. I found out where she went by accident. A month had passed since I discovered the house was gone. I hadn't confronted her. I didn't even know how to reach her, but I kept digging. Not obsessively, just methodically. The way you check a locked door twice, even when you know it's shut. One afternoon, while scrolling through social media, a name popped up in the People You May Know section. Someone I hadn't thought about in years. My brother's ex-girlfriend. We'd never been close, but we had mutuals, and she'd never unfriended me. I clicked on her profile. Nothing stood out, until I got to a photo she was tagged in. It was a group picture. 4 people on a balcony, drinks in hand, smiling into the sunset. The background looked familiar. It was a condo complex I recognized from a weekend trip I took once. Expensive, gated, right on the lake. And there, tucked into the corner of the frame, was my mother, smiling. Next to her, laughing like the world owed him a favor, was my brother. They looked relaxed. Not rich, but comfortable. The way people look when they know the bills are paid and someone else picked up the tab. I zoomed in. My mother was wearing a new necklace. My brother had a watch I knew cost at least $500. He'd once asked me to buy it for him as a graduation gift, then dropped out a month later. I sat there staring at that photo until my screen dimmed. I checked the county property records again. The condo wasn't in either of their names, rented. But the building only offered luxury units, minimum $3,000 a month. I ran the plates on the red sports car parked out front, registered under my brother's name. I felt sick, not just from the money, not even from the lie, but from the choice. She didn't run because she had to. She didn't sell the house to survive. She did it so she could give it all to him. Again, like always. The moment she had something stable, something safe and valuable, she didn't rest or breathe or build. She gave it away. To the same man who once pawned my bike as a teenager, who left her car totaled and vanished for 2 days while she sobbed on the couch, who spent more of his 20s high than employed. She handed it all over like I was just the bank teller, just the guy who fills the account and disappears. I didn't confront them. Not yet. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. I rehearsed every sentence, every question, every scream. But I also knew it wouldn't matter. She'd find a way to justify it. She always did. And I wasn't ready to hear it, because the truth I'd spent my whole life running from had finally caught me. It wasn't just that she didn't love me as much. She didn't love me at all. I didn't sleep that night. I laid on my couch in the dark, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding with a rhythm that made my chest ache. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that photo. Her hand resting on his shoulder, both of them smiling like they were on vacation, like nothing had happened, like I didn't exist. I replayed every moment in my head. The years I scraped by with nothing, the hours I worked overtime, the house I picked out for her, the furniture I assembled with my own hands. I thought about the look on her face when she first stepped into the living room. How she gasped, how she cried, how she called me her miracle. What a performance. It wasn't just betrayal, it was erasure. She hadn't just taken the money, she'd taken the history. Everything I did, everything I sacrificed, every part of me that bled to make her life better. She threw it in the ocean without even watching it sink. And he was reaping the benefits. He'd never changed. Still the manipulator, still the taker, still the person who believed the world owed him softness and that people like me were just there to cushion his fall. And yet, I didn't call. I didn't storm into their building. I didn't post on Facebook. I didn't even tell my closest friends. I shut down. I worked. I cleaned. I lifted weights until my muscles screamed. I went for 10-mile runs just to outrun the rage sitting under my skin like acid. I became mechanical, robotic, efficient. But deep down, I was boiling. I started documenting everything. Quietly, legally. I pulled the full sale history of the house. I got copies of the title transfer. I reviewed the paperwork from the realtor, from the notary, from the bank. I built a file, thick, printed, labeled. I wasn't planning anything in particular. I just needed it. I needed proof that I wasn't insane, that it happened, that I didn't imagine her taking everything and walking away without even saying goodbye. One night, I opened an email draft I'd been writing and deleting for weeks. Subject line, "Congratulations." Body, "I hope the new condo is nice. I saw the pictures. You look happy. He looks very funded. Just so you know, I kept the receipts for everything. Every cent of your debt, every signature, every dollar you made off the house I bought you. I hope it was worth it. You're not my mother anymore. I just wanted to make it official. I didn't send it. Not because I didn't mean it. I did. I still do. But because I realized that sending it would have given her exactly what she wanted. Attention, access, power. That was her currency. Always had been. The second I reacted, truly reacted, she would find a way to spin it. I would become the ungrateful one, the dramatic one, the angry, bitter, overreacting son who just can't let go. And I was done being her narrative device. So I did the only thing she didn't expect. I disappeared. I blocked her number. I unfriended every mutual connection. I told the bank to flag any attempt to access or transfer funds with my name on it. I took her off my emergency contact list. I even changed my legal address and removed her as next of kin. I made her a ghost. The thing is, cutting someone off sounds clean, final. But it's not. It's a slow, bleeding thing. It creeps back in during quiet moments, at holidays. When you drive past an old gas station you stopped at together, when you hear her favorite song in the grocery store, grief comes in waves, even for the people who never loved you. But I wasn't grieving who she was. I was grieving the person I thought she could become, the fantasy I held onto for too long. And once I let that go, I started to feel lighter. But I wasn't done yet, not by a long shot. Because while I might have been willing to walk away, the universe wasn't quite finished with them. Months passed. I focused on myself, not in that Instagram quote, take a bath kind of way. I mean real work. I moved to a better apartment. I changed jobs. I cut out every person in my life who made me feel like I had to earn basic decency. And slowly, without realizing it, I started to breathe again. And then, 6 months after I cut her off, she called me from a different number. I let it go to voicemail. The message was short. Her voice was hollow. "Hey, I guess you found out. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking straight. Things are complicated. Your brother's not doing well. I didn't want to choose sides, but I don't know. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." No apology, no ownership. Just the same slippery guilt trip, dressed up in half sentences and emotional bait. She didn't even pretend to explain. Just, I wasn't thinking straight. Like $130,000 evaporates in a fog. I deleted the voicemail. 2 weeks later, I got a message from a family member I hadn't spoken to in years. A cousin. We were close as kids, but drifted apart. She wrote, "Don't know if you heard, but your brother was arrested. Theft. Apparently it's bad. Your mom's freaking out. Just thought you should know." I didn't respond, but I looked it up. He'd stolen from his employer. Some startup dumb enough to trust him with inventory. Thousands of dollars in equipment gone, sold for cash, arrested, charged, and let out on bail. You can probably guess who paid. She did. She used what was left of the house money to cover his legal fees and post his bond. She even hired a lawyer. A decent one, not a public defender. I knew because the court records were public. I read them like they were a novel. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel angry. I felt free. Because for once, the consequences weren't mine to carry. I wasn't the one bailing him out. I wasn't the one cleaning up the mess. I wasn't the safety net, the fixer, the backup plan. They had burned the bridge, cashed the check, and were now left standing in the ashes, alone. A few weeks after that, she showed up at my office. I don't know how she found me. Maybe through LinkedIn, maybe a mutual connection. But there she was, standing in the lobby of the building I worked in, looking smaller than I remembered. Weathered, not frail exactly, just defeated. The receptionist buzzed me. "There's a woman here asking for you. Says she's your mother." I stared at the phone for 10 full seconds. Then I said, "Tell her I'm in a meeting," and I hung up. She waited in the lobby for 20 minutes. Then she left. That was the last time I saw her. And no, I don't regret it. Because that moment, that one small refusal, gave me something I hadn't felt since I was a kid. Power. Not over her, over myself. over my peace, over my story. For once, I wasn't the one begging to be seen. I was the one closing the door. And I swear to God, it felt like the first real breath I'd taken in years. It's been a year now. 12 full months since I last heard her voice. 12 months since I stopped trying to make sense of the senseless. Since I accepted that sometimes the apology never comes. The repair never happens. The people you love don't wake up one day and become the people you deserve. People always talk about forgiveness like it's this holy thing. Like if you don't forgive, you're carrying poison in your own chest. But that's not true. I didn't forgive her. I didn't find closure. I didn't write her a long letter and burn it under the moonlight. I just stopped bleeding for people who were never going to stop cutting. That's it. In life, it didn't magically become perfect. There are days I still check my phone and instinctively expect a message. There are moments where I see a mother and son laughing in a cafe and something inside me aches. I still flinch at certain words. I still freeze when someone praises me, like I'm waiting for the punchline. But I also sleep better. I smile more. I spend money on things that bring me joy without feeling guilty. I take real vacations. I don't answer phone calls I don't want to. I laugh without watching the room to see if it's okay first. And I've learned something I never expected. I wasn't unlovable. I was just surrounded by people who didn't know how to love. That's the real tragedy. Not the money, not the house, not the betrayal. It's that I spent so many years trying to earn love from people who rationed it out like breadcrumbs. Who made me feel like asking for basic kindness was asking for too much, who convinced me that being invisible was just the price of being quiet, responsible, dependable. I see it so clearly now. She didn't break me, she didn't destroy me, she revealed herself. And once she did, I had a choice: keep chasing a fantasy, or start building a reality that didn't include her. So I chose peace, I chose silence, I chose me. And if that makes me cold or bitter or heartless in her eyes, so be it. Because I'd rather be heartless than used, and I'd rather be alone than hated by the people I keep saving.